What's up, martial arts fanatics? Coach Greg here with Double Dog Martial Arts. Today we're doing an Ask the Coach. Somebody put in the question, what do you do if you're a tall fighter but you don't have a reach advantage? It does happen sometimes. Normally when we think of tall fighters, we think these guys have this great advantage of being able to touch us where we can't touch them, right? So if I can get you here, your punch is coming up short all the time. And that is a huge advantage. But there's more than one different type of reach, and often we think of reach just in terms of arm length. But I would argue that if you're tall, you're probably catching that length somewhere. You're still getting a reach advantage. It just might not be your arms. It could be in your legs, it could be in your torso. And so there are different things that we can do to use this to our advantage. One of the things that I would encourage a lot is if you don't feel like you have that reach advantage, maybe you don't play so much of a long guard style. Maybe you do play it more of a Philly shell type style, right? Playing in tight in here. And there's advantages that go with that. You play more of an absorption style of defense rather than an evasion style of defense. But what you do have the advantage of is with your footwork. So this kind of gives you an interesting style where instead of being long with this long footwork and stuff like that, now we're going to play it long legs, but a tight upper body. And now what I want you to think about doing is using the lean of your body to create deception. One of the things that I teach my guys is that, from right here, I can punch you. But if I'm leaning back and here on this Philly shell, very like Taekwondo style, right? Where I'm in here with my head back. If you're playing this kind of a style, now when I come in, I can close that gap. But in the meantime, he can't easily access me. And if I need to go back further, one of the arguments against doing this a lot is like, well, you can't go back anymore at this point. You're kind of at the max. But all I have to do is add a step. Right? And I can still do my other head movement from here, slipping, roll out, stuff like that. That's still always plausible. So I would encourage you to play more of that style and be very light on your feet and use your length advantage from your lower body and your lean back to your advantage. So now where we feel like, he feels like I can't access him, in truth, we are at punching range. He just doesn't see it because all it requires for me is just to lean forward to catch him. That's the first thing I would encourage. I would also encourage playing a lot more of a kicking game, because if you have a length in your legs, you're getting that height somewhere, so it's probably going to be more your legs at that point. You might not have it in the arms, but you probably still have a length advantage in the legs. So get good at using a side kick, particularly to the leg or the midsection. A front leg side kick is going to be your friend here. Play more of an open stance, right? So from here, right, as I'm catching this side kick to keep them at bay, and I come in here, now they feel like we're still at a kicking range until we're not, right? And there's some great tactics we can use from here. So that's another thing I would encourage. Now, if you're carrying it more in your torso, there are some places where this is gonna help you. One of those places, I believe, is against the cage. Because if I can start getting to almost like a duck under position, I can start using this to access the back. I can start using this to elongate them. So if I do get to a clinch, I can start to elongate them out more because my torso is so long. So I come in here and I can curl it in as I enter, right? I curl in, and then as I come up, I surprise them with how much I can extend them out. There's also a psychology of being a tall fighter that you can implement. When you fight a tall fighter, your opponent does not realize maybe that you have the shorter reach that you do. They're assuming you have a long reach because you're tall. So use that to your advantage a little bit, right? Think, make them nervous about that reach and entering into your range. Put your hand up, don't put it up so that they can tell your range is short, but maybe just feint up here, right? And then draw them in to your counters. Play more of a counter style and let them believe that your reach is your advantage, and so they're nervous upon entering. And then do blitz style tactics are also going to work really well because your footwork is going to be so long it's going to carry you further, right? Being on the outside here, right? You're going to be able to cover distance. So you use the attributes that you have, and this is true for any fighter. Like when you are concerned about a reach advantage, one of the things that they always try to do is say, well, you got to get inside on them. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's better to break down the obstacles, right? So they have a hand out there and they're being more active with this lead hand and keeping you at bay. This is a time to start attacking that lead arm, right? Front kicking to the tricep, smashing the back of the arm, maybe even the elbow if it's a fight, right? Using those type of things, dragging the arm across, these kind of elbow drags to get to the back. That type of stuff works really well. Attacking that front leg. Like I said, if you have a length advantage, catching leg kicks is going to be great for you. Just start picking them apart. If you can't get to the tree, you attack the branches. So that's true anytime we do this. Now, when you do get inside, one of the common habits is people do all this work to get inside and then they disengage. Once you get there, you need to stay on top of them. You need to be a wet blanket. So as soon as I cover this gap, right, and I get in here, I cannot let them disengage. I need to stay on top of them, whether I'm clinching, I'm shooting, I'm tying them up in some way, or I'm just staying close proximity with my footwork. Whatever you're gonna do, if you don't have a reach advantage and you have overcome that by getting inside on them, don't let them off the hook. That's a very common habit that I see with people. So you can either attack them from the outside, use your length of your kicking, leaning techniques are gonna be your friend, okay? So I hope this answers your question. Please keep them coming, guys, and thanks for watching.